Hi, I'm Coach Bodes. I'm going to be going over my top 3 biggest mistakes that people make when they're entering in their calories or tracking their nutrition throughout the week. So number 1 is going to be entering in errors. So this one comes down to, first of all, when we're actually preparing our food and we're measuring it out, making sure that we're measuring correctly. So if you're new to this, we're going to want to make sure that we're measuring out most things that we're eating to get a really good idea of how many grams of something we're eating or how many cups of something we're drinking. You don't have to do this forever, but for the first initial few weeks, it's really important to really get a good idea, a visual idea of how much food you're actually consuming and what numbers that relates to. So really important to make sure we're successful with this one, make sure that we have a good set of scales at home in the kitchen, making sure we've got a good set of cups to measure things out, or our teaspoons and tablespoons and things like that. We need to make sure that we're getting some good accurate measurements in these initial stages when we're first picking up. This can also be entering in errors into the actual app that we're entering it into. So something like a MyFitnessPal. What will happen is when you're entering your food in, it will come up with a whole list of options, whether the food's cooked or if it's raw, if it's peeled or unpeeled, if you're using vegetables. So we need to make sure that when we're entering it in, just really taking that extra time to make sure that the selection that we're picking is correct, because it can make a difference to the total amount of calories or the actual nutrient value of what we're doing. So just making sure we're really taking the time to go through and absolutely nail that part. Number 2 is going to be our consistency. So this comes down to being consistent with tracking our food, not only on a daily basis and making sure we're getting each and every meal in, but also on a weekly basis. So making sure that we're doing every single day. So a lot that people will do, number 1 is they'll either track all of their meals for the day, and then after dinner, when they have that little cheeky bit of dessert here or there, or maybe a glass of wine or whatever, they forget to add that little bit in at the end, which does contribute to our total daily daily calorie intake. So we do need to make sure that we're taking this into account and we are tracking it on our app. The other one, as I said, is on the weekends people will do. So they'll track all throughout the week, Monday to Friday, and then the same on the weekends when they let go a little bit, go out with some friends, get a meal out somewhere, go out for a brunch or whatever, and they don't add in this extra food, and it's usually more calories than what you'd eat in a day throughout the week. So we need to make sure that we're still entering this stuff in so you can really get a good picture of if we're eating the same amount of calories on the weekends or if we are going way over the top, so we know where we sort of need to improve and where we need to rein ourselves in a little bit. My favorite tool for consistency here is I like to take a picture of every meal that you eat, so your breakfast, lunch and dinner every single day, and then you can enter it in at the end of the day. So this is really good for when you're out and about and you don't want to sit there on your phone at the table entering in everything that you're eating, but if you just take a quick snapshot of what you're eating, at least when you get home later and you have time to enter it in, it's going to be better than doing nothing at all. So that's number 2. Number 3, liquid calories. So a big one that people always forget about. So as I was mentioning before, that glass of wine with dinner, maybe it's a beer, it could be on the weekends. You go to a party and you might have 6 beers or something and you don't enter it in. These have a lot of calories in them and they do add a lot onto our total weekly calorie intake. So we really need to make sure that we're entering in these. So as I said, we can get a really good holistic picture of everything that we're consuming so that we know where to improve on for the next week or the next month. So liquid calories, the way that I think is best to make sure that we're entering these in is to enter them in before you drink them. So if you're going to allow yourself to have a beer with dinner, enter it in before you drink it, so then it's already in there, it's ready to go. If you're going to a party and you're bringing a 6-pack, enter those 6 beers in before you actually drink them, so they're already in the app, ready to go. You don't have to worry about it, don't have to worry about counting them either, and it gives you a really good mental goal for how much you can limit yourself to on any given occasion. So those are my big 3. I think if we can make sure that we're being a little bit more consistent with the way that we're entering in these things and really give ourselves the best chance to improve and make more progress going forward.